Now, when it comes to muscle, which I'm currently trying to build, but because I'm not as active as I should be. Now, when I say I'm not as active, I'm active in terms of walking, my cardio is on point. But when it comes to building muscle, you need to do resistance training. You need to lift weight or do some sort of strength training. And while you're doing that, you need to focus on eating good sources of protein. If you are doing strength training and lifting weights and you're not eating good sources of protein, you're going to end up being leaner but without the muscles. So if you're looking to be muscular, you know, those toned arms that you see and all that, you must increase the amount of protein that you are eating or drinking. And that's why you see a lot of bodybuilders, they're constantly eating a lot of protein, or they're doing protein shakes just to up their protein intake, because without the protein, you can't build any muscle. So just to hammer on what I said earlier on, you must also do resistance training. So lift weights. Swimming is also a good way of lifting, of doing some of resistance training, because while you're trying to, push the water aside, it's like you're actually moving some sorts of weights. Or you can do dumbbells. Start off small. Start off with 0.5 kg. Move to 1 kg with time. Move to 2. Don't just say, oh, I want to lift weight, and then you go and lift 20 or 30 kg in one day, and then you have muscle tears and you're in pain for God knows how long. So don't follow the crowd. Take the advice of a professional fitness trainer before you decide to embark on a fitness journey. Okay, so this will vary from person to person. However, my general recommendation is that you do not eat a heavy meal an hour before you work out. So depending on what your goals are, calorie-wise, like I mentioned earlier on, of which all calories are not equal, by the way, but that's something I should have hammered on earlier on. Not all calories are equal. Now, 0 calories in a diet soda, which may be okay for weight loss because it's 0 calories, is way inferior to 200 and something calories in a smoothie. Now, in a good fruit or veggie smoothie, what you get from the smoothie is packed with a lot of nutrients that your body needs to function, and which may help to, lower the cravings in general. While that diet soda that is 0 calories would trigger things like irritability, you are craving more sugar. It could even leave you with insomnia if it has high strength caffeine in it. So it all varies. A perfect pre-workout meal, make sure that it's something that gives you a quick burst of energy. Some people do bananas. I think bananas are like the best because it's just easy but this is not for weight loss. Now, if you are doing weight loss and you need to have a pre-workout meal by fire, that won't work, because that's just an additional extra that you don't need. But if you're trying to maintain your weight, you're just trying to be fit in general, then a pre-workout meal is very important. And then for post-workout, depending on the type of workout that you do, if you're doing a lot of strength training, then you definitely want to make sure that you're eating enough protein. So enough protein in the forms of things like your lean cuts of meat, fish, chicken, your seafood in general, be it prawn, shrimp, calamari, your goat meat, your turkey. All those are good sources of protein. The first question is, do you really need a cheat meal? Cheat meals are not for everybody. Rule number 1. Now, I'm assuming we're talking about weight loss since we're saying cheat meal. Cheat meals are not for everybody. For some people, a cheat meal gives some sort of, what should I call it? Should I say calmness? Or it gives you some sort of, it makes you less frustrated for some people. But for another person, once they have that cheat meal, it totally throws them off track. So rule number 1 with all things weight loss related, know thyself. If you're the type of person that the cheat meal is going to set off track, please, you don't have to cheat. You can always find healthier replacements for whatever it is that you want to eat. These days, as opposed to doing the white flour, there are so many other sources of flour that you can use as a substitute. Now, they may not be lower in calorie, but nutrition-wise, they may be fiber-dense, so that way you don't feel the need to eat as much as you would. So, for example, there's a trend going on in the fit farm world, especially in Nigeria, Things like oatmeal cookies, oatmeal banana bread. Now, all these things are not, they're not lower in calorie than your normal cake. However, what happens is that because these things are highly nutritious and most of them are made with good sources of flour, like your oatmeal flour, your spelt flour, whole wheat flour. So what happens is that you are more filled up. You are happy eating a smaller portion, and your body automatically thinks that you are more satiated eating healthier sources of food. So what I always tell people is, first of all, before you embark on a cheat meal, try to healthify your meals, your favorite foods. If you healthify your meals, then there is less tendency to want to have a cheat meal. However, if you are like me, Dams, because I like all sides, the good, the bad, and the ugly, I believe in the 80-20 rule, but that's what works for me as an individual. So when I'm going to have a cheat meal and I'm not in the mood to healthify whatever it is I'm going to eat at that point in time, I'm not perfect, only God is perfect, then I think, what do I really want or what am I craving? Now, the old me would go for any option that's available at that point in time, and it could be 5 or 6 options, just eat everything just because it's there. But now, what I think to myself is, what will I really enjoy today? What do I really want? Is this a cheeseburger, double cheeseburger with fries and bacon and a milkshake? Or is it some ofada stew with some fried shaki and everything inside and some fried plantain and a bottle of that bad drink or cocktail? Or do I feel like having some pizza today? So it all depends. Think about it. Don't just eat for eating's sake. If you're going to eat a cheat meal, make sure that you savor every single bite. Let it be something that you really, really enjoy. Otherwise, that's not a cheat meal. They are just emotional eating, and that's not a great idea.
Hi, I'm John Obidi, and I have a ton of hobbies. You know what I love the most? Making money with little or no stress. Using the iInvest app, I can invest my money in treasury bills and watch it grow in value. You can get started with as little as 100,000 Naira or as much as 100 million Naira. Download the iInvest app from the App Store and the Google Play Store, create your account, and make your first deposit.
I'm going to go into numbers, and I really don't like to go into numbers, but I will. Okay, so per gram of carbohydrates and protein, you have about 4 calories per gram. Per gram of fat, you have 9 calories per gram. Now, per gram of alcohol, you have 7 calories per gram. And I always say, what shall it profit a man to say, I'm eating oilless this, oilless that, but you're drinking, constantly drinking alcohol. The carbohydrates and proteins are 4 calories per gram. Alcohol is 7 calories per gram, which is very close to the amount, close to the amount that is in fat and almost double the amount that is in your carbohydrates and proteins. Another thing that happens when you drink alcohol is that your body struggles to burn off the alcohol before burning the fat. So as opposed to your body burning off the fat, it's going to try to burn off the alcohol first. And that's why a lot of people who are alcoholics or drink a lot of alcohol may seem to have a slower metabolism than normal. And this is because the body tries to burn off the tries to burn off the alcohol before the fat. So alcohol for someone who is trying to be a Weight Watcher must definitely be reduced for sure. They say the odd glass of red wine is fine. They say the odd glass of red wine is fine. So if you're a red wine drinker, as opposed to drinking it every day like you would, I don't believe in going cold turkey. What I mean by cold turkey is just stopping something all of a sudden, like boom. It makes it harder. But I believe in reducing things bit by bit. I used to be a chronic soda drinker. I'll use myself as an example. I could not sit down to have a meal without a soft drink, and not a diet soft drink, full fat soft drink. So what I did when I started trying to lose weight is that from drinking like 4 or 5 bottles a day, I cut it down to 2 bottles. Sometimes I will still do 3. From that, I cut it down to 2 bottles. From then, I cut it down to 1 bottle. Before I knew it, I realized, I actually don't really feel like drinking these things. I started finding healthier replacements for my soft drinks and even alcohol in general. Because before, I drink a cocktail or cocktails and not feel guilty about it at all. But now I'm more conscious about what I'm eating or drinking. So Weight Watchers, alcohol is not your friend, unfortunately. do it with moderation. Okay, so over the years, I remember growing up, secondary school, you would hear, "Oh, drink eight glasses of water a day." That's a typical statement, and that's a generally good guideline to drink 8 glasses of water. But a glass, there are different sizes of glasses. There's a 4 ounce glass, there's an 8 ounce glass, there's a 12 ounce glass. My first rule when it comes to drinking water or staying hydrated is you need to drink as much water as possible. Now, as much water as possible with caution. Drink when you're thirsty. Now, the 8 glasses a day is just a general guideline, which is supposed to mean 1.5 liters of water. Now, 8 glasses a day means approximately 1.5 liters of water. At least that's what they wanted it to mean, whoever the researchers were or scientists were. However, if you're somebody who is constantly working out in the gym, you cannot compare the amount of water that you should be drinking to the amount of water that me, I'm just sitting down here doing the coaching class. I'm not even sweating at all. So if I'm drinking 1.5 liters of water at this point in time, I'm fine. But you who are constantly sweating, maybe on the road, you're constantly working out, you definitely need a lot of water. So also make sure that you drink when you're thirsty, but the minimum amount to drink to try to ensure that you drink is 1.5 liters of water on average. It could go higher depending on whatever your level of activity or need to stay hydrated. Whatever that is, you need to find out what that is and stick to that.